My name is Marcus Bovey, and I have a project called Bay House the Series, based on a feature release coming out next January 7th from my company Impact Releasing called The Bay House from writer-director Bo Brinkman. The Bay House is a family drama set in the 1980s in Texas, in Galveston, Texas. The family patriarch, Cowden Brooks, who has been in elected office his entire life, loses his seat in government. And then over one weekend, the family comes together at the family Bay House to figure out how they salvage their family dynamic. It's a powerful film with a great cast. Barry Corbin, Leslie Ann Warren, Sean Ferris. It's an amazing cast. It's a simple film, and my company was going to release the film in the spring of 2020. And of course, we had already screened for theater owners around the country. We'd had our audience feedback screenings. We'd done all of our work, and we're ready to execute on a campaign, only to have the theaters shut down across the nation as we were getting ready to begin our campaign. Rather than push our story, our very dramatic, powerful story, out to a digital platform at that time, I wanted to make sure that we were honoring our relationships with theater owners when the time came. So we have now conceived a January 7th release in Houston, Texas, where the film was made, and then a slow expansion through January and February of 2022. We're excited, and we're even more excited because we have expanded these characters into Bay House the series. Bay House the series begins exactly as Bay House the movie, where we discover a family who is in terrible pain of neglect, pain of abuse, pain of trauma that's never properly been dealt with. But it all comes to the head when the family patriarch, Cowden Brooks, played by Barry Corbin, discovers something perhaps maybe not very flattering about his political career.
Hard times are supposed to bring families together.
Funerals and elections bring us together.
I did everything within my power.
You blame him, don't you?
What happens when a politician retires? Do the lobbyists get together and get you a gold watch?
You've been here 5 minutes and already you're popping off.
Nothing grows in toxic waste. Did you hear that, Cowden Brooks?
Nothing to discuss then, there's nothing to discuss now.
He lost his son.
You put that on me.
You two finished?
We haven't even started.
Don't you blame me for your mother's actions.
Mama's responsible for Daddy losing the election?
She was.
That's crazy.
She is.
Mrs. Brooks! Get away from
All I've ever done is try to keep this family together.
I wanted you to need me. I wanted you to love me.
I lost my soul in the South Pacific. And if something's going on behind my back, I want to know about it. Ah! This is where you belong. Your roots, your family, right here. Nowhere else.
The gap that Bay House series fills essentially is a family story. Much like the Waltons, much like Little House on the Prairie, much like those great traditional family television shows, Bay House the series has all of the elements and underpinnings of powerful performances, amazing story plot lines, redemptive opportunities, and healing for everyone, both associated from inside the show and from people watching from outside the show. Because it's set in a different time, we have a creative advantage to bring up stories, bring up events from the past that people might not have understood and make it an educational piece, but also at the same time bring our characters some modern sentiment from today's era as well. So naturally, as we get close to our release date, we will be reconnecting with all of our community partners and brand partners that were associated with our initial 2020 release to see if they're still willing to get involved with our theatrical campaign for Q1 2022. And there were a number of them, and the reaction and response was very favorable from our test audiences as well as exhibitors alike. With all of these assets already there, it seems to me that we're looking for a delivery partner, perhaps the Apples of the world that feel that really compelling, great content fits nicely into their platform. We do have letters of intent from our talent. Bo Brinkman, the writer, director, producer of the Bay House, will be serving as a supervising producer. And as a producer of the film myself, and also as the distributor with the experience and knowledge of being part of the release of 435 feature films at 2 studios over 20 years and taking out 15 independently. This is technically my first foray into the production of television content, but these characters are just so amazingly rich. They're someone that everybody can identify with. And to me, most of the comments that we received from our test screenings and from our friends and people connected to the project and exhibitors was that reminds me of my family. So to me, it's an exercise in wanting to continue my relationship with the characters from Galveston, to see how they can continue to grow and evolve and share personal glimpses of healthy or healing and healthy opportunities and options for a nation that has been so overwhelmed by so much trauma. Maybe having role models in television that they can identify with, either in our current setting or from the past, which I still believe is our creative advantage in this situation, is being set in the past, much like all the other successful television franchises about families were set in other times. It would be an honor and a pleasure for me to continue the work that Bo Brinkman had started with the Bay House and bring it and keep it moving forward. So thank you for taking the time. Marcus Bovey, our feature, The Bay House, opening in theaters in January 2022, and looking to bring Bay House, the series, to your platform soon. Thank you.